Hey guys, okay, so here is my final review of the final film that I saw at TIFF 2014, and what a great way to end the festival. I knew it would be, because it's a documentary by Nick Broomfield. This guy is such a great documentary filmmaker. I don't know if you guys have seen anything by him before, but if you haven't, you should, because he is so good at what he does. This film is called Tales of the Grim Sleeper, and it was about a serial killer in Los Angeles who may have killed over 100 women over about 20 to 30 year period. This guy has been arrested. His name is Lonnie Franklin Jr. He is in jail, but he has yet to go to trial. He's been in jail for 4 years, and he hasn't yet gone to trial. He's had some hearings, I guess preliminary hearings, but he has not yet gone to trial because I guess his lawyers keep delaying the case. But, oh my god, this was such a great film, such a great movie. I mean, I really like documentaries about crime, you know, and he's just, Nick Broomfield is so good at it. Like, he combines this, like, you know, major drama, like this major dramatic story of the serial killer terrorizing, you know, this impoverished part of the city. And there's always humor. There's always, like, humor in his movies. Like, he's got this way about him that it's just, you know, you can't help but chuckle at some of the situations that they're in, and some of the conversations he has, and the characters that he meets, and just things that happen, you know, like there's always like that element of humor in his films. It's so enjoyable, you know, so it's a great balance between, like, you know, tragedy and, you know, the lighter side of things, which, you know, you have to laugh every once in a while, otherwise, you know, whatever. But anyways, okay, so this guy, Lonnie Franklin Jr., lived in South Central LA, which has got like the highest murder rate in, I'm not sure if it's in the country or definitely in the city. That part of Los Angeles has the highest murder rate. And this guy, allegedly, you know, he hasn't been convicted yet, but I mean, he, you know, killed, like, you know, he stalked all these women. This guy killed hookers. His prey was hookers, you know, crack addicts, these women who are crack addicts and they're hookers and they're out on the street, and, you know, he would just pick these women up and take them back to his house or his camper. He had a camper, parked in his driveway, and his garage, he used his garage as well. He would take photographs of them, in posing them in all these, like, sexual poses, and kill them. He would either strangle them or shoot them in the chest, usually. And the cops knew about this guy for like 20 years, and they didn't release any information to the public. None of these missing women were ever, like, written about in the papers in LA. They were just basically, you know, nobody gave a shit. The cops didn't give a shit. The newspapers didn't give a shit. Nobody cared. And all these women were, like, just slaughtered by this guy. This guy ran rampant in the area. He was even arrested once with one of his buddies, and no fingerprints were taken. They weren't even questioned. They were just thrown in a cell and let go, you know, like a few hours later. I guess finally they had to arrest the guy. Maybe they were getting more and more political pressure, or there was this one group that was run by a woman from the neighborhood called the Black Coalition Against Serial Murder or something like that. And I guess they probably must have been putting pressure on the LAPD and the DA's office and stuff to get this case, you know, going. And so they finally arrested him, after they got his DNA from a cup that he had drank from at some pizza place or something like that. But, I mean, you know, Nick Broomfield, you know, really excels at interviewing people. Like, you know, finding these people, collecting these characters, and, you know, getting to know them and letting us get to know them. And when the film starts, he goes to Lonnie Franklin Jr.'s neighborhood, and he's, you know, it's a black neighborhood, and he's a white guy, so, you know, he's not exactly welcome there. So these guys, who were three of Lonnie Franklin's best friends, where, like, you know, initially they were, like, yelling at him, calling him a peckerwood and a cracker and all this stuff, and telling him, get the hell out of our neighborhood. And then I guess they agreed to talk to him because they're all sitting on the stoop and they're telling him, oh, you know, Lonnie was a great guy. You know, he would do anything for everybody. He would help, he would get a part for your car. He'd help fix your car. He'd loan you money, this and that. He was the greatest guy. And they were, like, adamantly, vehemently defending him, saying there's no way he could have done this. There's no way he could have, you know, committed these crimes that he was accused of. He was way too good a guy. And then, you know, in the next scene, they're all like, well, you know, I really don't think he did it, but there's a few things I want to tell you about that were kind of weird about him. And so eventually they end up, you know, basically just, you know, that's why this movie is called Tales of the Grim Sleeper, because there were so many witnesses that he interviewed that were telling stories about their experiences with this guy. And most of them, the majority of them were hookers. He ends up meeting another woman who had been a former prostitute. Her name was Pam. She was hilarious. She's, you know, one of these, you know, really, you know, gregarious, outgoing, you know, like typical inner city kind of, you know, black women who's got the lingo and everything and motherfucker this and, you know, she's just great. She was an amazing woman. And so she knew a lot of the women who were still on the street because she had only been, I guess, off the street for about 4 years by the time when he met her. And so she was taking him around the area and introducing him to all the people, and, you know, they'd be talking to them about their experiences. And, you know, a lot of these hookers would say, yeah, I knew him, you know, I did him a few times, and he had me, he tried to get me to go to his house. Some of them escaped, some of them managed to escape this guy. But then there were, you know, another woman was saying, yeah, I got a few girls to go and go to his place, and I never saw them again and stuff. So, you know, they were telling all these stories about their experiences with him. This woman, Pam, he had been a client of hers. And, you know, she was telling, oh, he was trying to get freaky, he was trying to get me to do all this stuff. I told him, forget it. So she was one of the ones who ended up surviving her interaction with him. But it was just, you know, I don't want to go into all of the stories that were told about him because it'll spoil it for you. You know, you have to go and see this movie. This guy was just, I mean, he was just, he hated women, hated hookers, hated crack addicts, and, you know, I guess just took it upon himself to do whatever he wanted with them. And he had a lot of sexual, you know, like freaky, you know, perversions, I guess you would say. He was a porn addict. You know, there were just so many stories about this guy. You know, and it was just fascinating. Fascinating film, really entertaining, you know, just, you know, a typical, you know, great Nick Broomfield documentary. You know, you will not be disappointed if you see this film. It's a great crime documentary. So tragic, you know, like it just goes to show you, you know, like they were saying in the film, if his victims had been white women or celebrities or something like that, there would have been like a task force assigned to these murders, like, you know, immediately. But because they were like these poor black women who lived in this, like, you know, the slum area of the city, nobody cared except their family members, you know, and, it's just really tragic. It seems like every time I see, you know, a movie about, you know, like the police department and, you know, like corruption and stuff that goes on and, you know, the shit, you know, the negligence and stuff, it's always the LAPD. You know, the fucking LAPD has got to be the worst in the country, in the US, you know. It's every time you hear something bad, it's usually about the LAPD, you know. I'm just saying. But anyways, yeah. You know, what else can I say? I don't want to spoil it for you by going on and telling you about everything everybody said, but you will love this film. You will love this film. If you like crime drama, if you like crime documentaries, if you like Nick Broomfield, you will definitely love this film, because I did. It was great, and it was a fantastic way to end the festival. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so that's it until next year. So, yeah, back to reality, back to real life for me. Okay, I always I love doing these reviews. I love TIFF, you know, so it's not work for me. It's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next year. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.